Night has barely ended in Leh when smoke starts to rise over the quiet mountain town. A BJP office is on fire. Flames lick the sky while young protesters hurl stones at police vans. A CRPF vehicle is already a blackened shell. Tear gas hangs in thin Himalayan air. Lathi swings. Hundreds of students face off against riot police in streets that only yesterday were filled with tourists buying pashmina shawls. Ladakh, the cold desert that usually makes headlines for breathtaking landscapes, is now in the news for burning streets. This is not just another protest. This is the loudest cry yet from a region that feels betrayed, cornered, and forgotten. Hello, I'm Tejas and you're watching Lokmat Times. In this explainer, I'll break down why Ladakh is on the boil, what triggered the violent protest, what the protesters are demanding, and how the government has responded so far. But before that, our usual request. Please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already and press the bell icon to never miss an update. First, let's understand how a peaceful hunger strike turned into a violent protest. For 35 days, 15 Ladakhi activists have been on a hunger strike demanding statehood and constitutional safeguards for their land and identity. Among them are two women, Sri Anchuk and Anchuk Dolma. On night of September 23rd, their bodies gave up. They collapsed and had to be rushed to the hospital. By morning, the news spread like wildfire across Leh. Students and the youth wing of the Leh Apex Body, an umbrella group leading the statehood movement, called for complete shutdown. Shops shuttered, schools emptied, crowds poured into the streets. Anger that had been simmering for years finally boiled over. What started as a bandh quickly turned violent. The BJP office in Leh became the first target. Protesters broke past barricades and set it ablaze. Videos show flames shooting out of windows while smoke curls into the thin Himalayan air. Outside, a CRPF vehicle was torched and left smoldering in the street. Stones rained down on government buildings, including the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council office. Police vans were pelted with rocks as officers tried to hold the line. The police response was swift and brutal. Tear gas shells exploded across narrow lanes. Baton charges pushed protesters back, but the crowds regrouped. By evening, Leh resembled a war zone. Sirens wailing, smoke everywhere, young men and women refusing to back down. Officials called the situation tense but under control. But anyone on the ground could see that control was slipping. At the heart of this uprising is Sonam Wangchuk, a 57-year-old engineer, educator, and climate activist who has become the face of Ladakh's fight. You might know him as the real-life inspiration for the movie Three Idiots. But for Ladakhis, he is more than a pop culture reference. He is the man who dared to take on Delhi. Wangchuk and the Leh Apex Body have four key demands. First, full statehood for Ladakh so decisions aren't left to bureaucrats from Delhi. Second, 6th schedule protection, a constitutional safeguard that gives tribal communities control over their land and resources. Third, a separate public service commission for local job recruitment. 2 Lok Sabha seats, one for Leh, one for Kargil, so the region isn't left with just single MP. These demands aren't new. Wangchuk has led marches, fasts, and even a 21-day hunger strike in minus 10 degrees Celsius temperatures. Each time Delhi promised talks. Each time the talks stalled. Patience has now run out. To understand why Ladakh is boiling, you need to rewind to 2019. That year, the Modi government scrapped the Article 370, carving Ladakh out of Jammu and Kashmir and turning it into a union territory. Many Ladakhis initially celebrated, believing statehood or at least 6th schedule was next. The BJP even promised it. In its 2019 manifesto and again during the 2020 Hill Council elections, the party said Ladakh would get 6th schedule protection. People believed them. The BJP swept the polls. 5 years later, none of those promises have materialized. Instead, Ladakh is ruled directly from Delhi by Lieutenant Governor. Local representatives have no say over land laws, industrial projects, or the fragile ecosystem that sustains life in this cold desert. Outside investors are eyeing Ladakh's minerals, hydropower potential, and tourism riches. For locals, this feels like colonization in slow motion. It's not just politics, it's survival. Grazing land is shrinking. Massive hydro projects threaten glaciers. Villagers complain that Chinese troops have quietly occupied grazing grounds near the line of actual control, and Delhi isn't listening. When people feel ignored, frustration turns to fury. So why hasn't Delhi moved? Political analysts point to cold arithmetic. Ladakh has just one Lok Sabha seat. It doesn't swing national elections. Granting 6th schedule status would also restrict central control over land and minerals, making it harder to push big-ticket projects like hydropower plants, geothermal energy fields, and military infrastructure. Strategically, the center prefers direct administration in a border zone that shares sensitive frontiers with China and Pakistan. For Delhi, control is non-negotiable. For Ladakh, autonomy is non-negotiable. That's the deadlock. Until now, Ladakh's movement was remarkably peaceful. Wangchuk led climate fasts, long marches, and hunger strikes that drew thousands but never turned violent. In March 2024, he fasted for 21 days in sub-zero temperatures. In October that year, he walked 900 kilometers from Leh to Delhi with over 170 supporters, only to be detained at the capital's borders. Each time, the government promised dialogue. Each time, the demands were shelved. September 24 marks a turning point. The burning of the BJP office is the first major act of violence in this movement. It signals that Ladakhis, especially the youth, no longer believes peaceful appeals will work. The centre has finally scheduled the next round of talks for October 6th. Union Minister Nityanand Rai will meet Ladakh representatives in Delhi, but expectations are low. Wangchuk says Home Minister Amit Shah told him bluntly last year, "Even if the Prime Minister asks me, I won't grant 6th schedule or statehood." That statement hangs heavy over the negotiations. If the October talks fail, Ladakh could see more unrest, bigger protests, and possibly harsher crackdowns. For now, Leh is heavily guarded. Additional security forces have been flown in. Internet restrictions are being considered. The government is desperate to avoid another flare-up. This isn't a local issue. The fight for Ladakh is about democracy, environmental survival, and the meaning of promises in modern India. It's about the people who cheered when Article 370 was revoked but now feel abandoned by the same government they supported. It's about the clash between development dreams and the rights of indigenous communities. When dialogue breaks down and trust evaporates, even the most peaceful regions can explode. Right now, the world is watching videos of burning buildings and tear gas in Leh, but behind the smoke is a simple demand: let Ladakh decide its own future. Whether Delhi listens or doubles down will decide if this cold desert sees peace or more fire in the weeks to come. That's all for now. Do let us know what you think of this video in the comments below and keep watching Lokmat Times for more such stories.